Ex-Wabash Township trustee Jennifer Tising's appeal could be dead on arrival. The latest on the case after her attorney filed the brief late. And after a brief hiatus due to the pandemic, Camp WAC is back in action. How it's making a difference in the lives of local kids. Next.
All right, highs today 82 to 87 over the viewing area, but the humidity still held in check. But we are tracking higher humidity, the risk of some storms, and eventually a big heat wave that's going to impact us later next week. We'll show you all that latest information next.
News 18 at 11 starts now. WLFI Lafayette. News from where you live.
Good evening, I'm Samantha Tiki. Thank you so much for joining us. In a News 18 update, a Benton County man allegedly told police that he used a chainsaw to dismember his girlfriend's body. State police say Rita Spigner's body was found in 2 large garbage bags after they were called for a welfare check at the couple's house on July 3rd. Court papers filed in the case today say Edward Bagwell claims the two had been smoking methamphetamine when he slapped her for scratching him. He says she fell down and started convulsing and then died. Bagwell says he didn't call 911 because she was already dead and police couldn't help. According to Bagwell, the two had lived together for about 8 years. Their residence on Oak Street at Ambia is where the incident allegedly occurred. Spigner's cause of death is pending toxicology reports. Court documents note that she had severe heart trouble.
The sheriff's office and the state police did a nice job for the community right up front to let us know that there was no ongoing threat to our community, which I think helped settle everybody down, because when something like that happens, you can make all kinds of assumptions, and in the vacuum of information or the lack thereof, you'll start wondering and making things up when people talk.
Both Indiana State Police and the Benton County Sheriff's Office are unavailable for additional comment at this time. Ex-Wabash Township trustee Jennifer Tising's appeal could be dead on arrival after her attorney filed the brief late. The Indiana Court of Appeals will now decide whether or not to accept the document. Tising is appealing her conviction and sentence on 21 counts of theft. She lived outside the township for much of 2020 while continuing to collect her salary. Her attorney accuses prosecutors of, quote, bootstrapping Indiana's residency law onto the state's theft statutes. The brief also makes a case for double jeopardy. Her attorney argues the former trustee was punished 21 times for just one act. Tising is seeking a new trial with a special prosecutor. 5 Lafayette firefighters were pinned and promoted today during a ceremony at City Hall in Lafayette. The firefighters were sworn in by Mayor Tony Rosworski and then received pins recognizing their new positions. Battalion Chief Toby Frost was promoted from captain. Captain Robert McCord was promoted from lieutenant. Lieutenant Todd Lyons was promoted from sergeant. Sergeants Brian Adkins and Cody Robbie were both promoted from journeymen. Today kicked off Camp WAC's annual 3-day event at the Bicentennial Nature area of Lake Harner. The camp gives children with disabilities the opportunity to take part in a variety of water sports. Fun in the water is what brings kids to the camp, but the relationships from that is what brings them back every year. News 18's Maddie D'Addario reports how this camp has made an impact that lasts a lifetime.
This is better than Christmas. It's better than birthdays.
This is Sophia Burns and her mom, Mimi Burke. Sophia is a longtime camper at Camp WAC, and this is her favorite day of the year.
This is her everything. We plan every doctor appointment, every surgery, every infusion that she needs around today.
It's clear the imprint Camp WAC has left on Sophia and her family is one that will last a lifetime.
This group of people allow her be a kid and to be free.
But the impact Sophia has left on Camp WAC may be even stronger. Vice President of the organization, Christine Hooker, says Sophia is the reason she's in the position that she is today. But Sophia's influence is larger than just one person.
She comes back every year, and she's a lot of the reason why many of these campers and volunteers are back every year.
Being a community built off of love for one another makes the camp what it is. And while the fun in the water is exciting, it's the bond shared that makes Camp WAC such a special place.
And we just can't thank them enough for what they give to our family and so many other families like ours.
Again, that was Maddie D'Addario reporting. Camp WAC will continue July 13th and 14th in Lafayette and start up again for one day in Milford on July 18th. Turning now to weather, nice and comfortable today, but don't get used to it because we are going to heat back up. Storm Team 18's chief meteorologist, I can't speak tonight, Chad Evans joins us now with the first check of the forecast. Chad, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Well, hopefully we're not getting ahead of ourselves with the heat here because we got to just hang on to this relief for now. It's seasonable out there. It's going to be seasonable tomorrow, but next week we're going to be back at 100 degrees again. But tonight it's okay. Temperatures are held in check. We're tracking a weak cold front, what we call shortwave. Shortwave is just a little lower pressure. It's a cold pocket as you go several thousand feet up, and it's been bubbling up showers and thunderstorms here in Wisconsin, Minnesota. It'll move kind of over here, but its tail end may bring an isolated shower or a little isolated thunder shower for tomorrow. We are running in the upper 60s to low 70s area-wide. Candy's in the low 70s right now at Chalmers, and Gary's after a high of 86 degrees. It says it's still dry up there in the north on those sandy soils in northern Jasper County. With current dew points, not bad. They're near 60 to the low 60s, and we're headed for lows 60 to 65 tonight. A few clouds coming in from the northwest and a very light southwest wind. 64 Attica will drop to low 60s at Kokomo and Roucheville, and about 63 at Burlington. We'll dig into this heat. We'll also dig into an opportunity to get some rain Saturday night next.
All right, Chad, thank you. Both houses of Congress are addressing the issue of abortion today in the wake of last month's Supreme Court ruling overturning Roe v. Wade, the 1973 decision that said women have a constitutional right to abortion. Serena Marshall reports from the White House.
For the first time since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, the Senate is back and hearing from those impacted by the decision.
We are already seeing mass chaos,
including Planned Parenthood doctor Colleen McNicholas, who told lawmakers she's already seen the harm.
Lupus, arthritis, cancer, medications that we use frequently to control those conditions are being denied to patients because they might also contribute to miscarriage or can be used for abortion and other indications.
Witnesses on both sides of the issue testified before the Senate Judiciary Committee about the ramifications of the Dobbs decision.
For the first time in half a century, the people, through our elected representatives, have the legal authority to affirm the dignity of women and fully protect unborn babies.
Already, abortion is banned in 10 states. Illinois' lieutenant governor testified about the impact of neighboring states restricting access.
The number of out-of-state patients has doubled since Roe v. Wade was overturned.
The hearing comes just days after President Biden signed an executive order aimed at protecting reproductive health services, while admitting there are limits to what he can do without Congress. On Tuesday, a House Rules Committee took up the Women's Health Protection Act, which would codify the right to an abortion. A second bill would ban states from interfering with someone's right to travel to another state to get the procedure.
These bills make clear that we are going to fight tooth and nail.
Neither bill, however, is likely to clear the Senate and make it to the president's desk. Serena Marshall, CBS News, the White House.
On Monday, President Biden told hospitals that under federal law, they must provide abortion services if the life of the mother is at risk, even in states that now ban the procedure without any exceptions. Another busy Lafayette thoroughfare is slated for construction. Work could start as soon as this summer or as late as next spring on Cassuth Street from 4th Street to Earl Avenue. Crews will resurface the road, replace 7,000 feet of curbs, and build 80 new curb ramps. City engineer Jeremy Grenard says construction will restrict traffic but won't close the road. He adds this aging stretch of Cassuth Street is littered with potholes and patches.
It's a major collector for the city. The rideability is terrible. As far as if you drive any of our major roadways, this is one of the worst.
The $1.5 million project must be finished by July of next year. Half of the cost is funded by state matching grants. Video has been released by local media in Texas that shows more than an hour of inaction by law enforcement in Uvalde as a gunman killed 19 children and 2 teachers. The video doesn't show the violence and has been edited to remove the sounds of children screaming, but it's still very disturbing and difficult to watch. CBS's Matt Piper has the details, including the angry reaction from the victims' parents over the release of the footage.
Surveillance video obtained by the Austin American-Statesman shows the gunman armed with an AR-15 style weapon entering Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas. He walks down a hallway and, with a young boy appearing just around the corner, opens fire into a classroom for 2.5 minutes. Moments later, the first police officers enter the school. They approach the classroom but do not enter, and when more gunfire is heard, they retreat. For more than an hour, dozens of officers with rifles and shields are seen waiting down the hall. One even uses the hand sanitizer mounted on the wall. More than an hour after the gunman entered the school, officers finally breach the classroom door and kill the gunman.
Jayla, Jace, Eliana.
Families of the 19 children and 2 teachers were supposed to see the video first this weekend before it was released publicly. They're outraged over how it came out.
Since you decided to leak the video to this reporter, put a name to those faces that I hope haunt you in your dreams. Because we are haunted every day.
Uvalde City Council members say the gunman's movements and gunfire were not going to be included.
The way that video was released today is one of the most chicken things I've ever seen.
Some family members are in Washington, D.C. They are attending a rally on Wednesday to call for stricter gun control laws and an assault weapons ban. Matt Piper, CBS News.
Absolutely horrific. Investigators are putting together a report detailing the police response that will also be released, with preliminary findings expected on Sunday. The House Select Committee investigating the January 6th Capitol attack held its 7th public hearing today. What lawmakers found when they examined whether former President Donald Trump helped mobilize extremist groups like the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers. And new pictures have been released from the deepest parts of our universe. Later in the newscast, we'll show you the images from light years away.
You're watching News 18 at 11. News from where you live.
Welcome back. The House Select Committee investigating the January 6th Capitol attack held its 7th public hearing today. Lawmakers examined whether former President Donald Trump helped mobilize extremist groups like the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers that day. Skylar Henry reports from Capitol Hill.
The Electoral College has spoken.
In the final weeks leading up to January 6th, members of then-President Trump's inner circle testified they urged him to admit the presidential election was over.
If your question is, did I believe he should concede the election at a point in time? Yes, I did.
The committee heard from former White House counsel Pat Cipollone for the first time in clips from his private deposition last week. Cipollone detailed a contentious meeting in the Oval Office focusing on seizing voting machines in battleground states.
The idea that the federal government could come in and seize election machines, it's a terrible idea.
In a tweet on December 19th, committee members say a defiant Trump then summoned supporters to come to Washington, saying in part, "Be there will be wild."
Trump's purpose was to mobilize a crowd. And how do you mobilize a crowd in 2020? With millions of followers on Twitter.
House committee members say President Trump lit the flame, igniting the January 6th riot, galvanizing radical groups who showed up that day with body armor, bear spray, and even bats.
Donald Trump is calling on his supporters to descend on Washington, D.C.
He is now calling on we the people to take action.
Former Oath Keepers spokesperson Jason Van Tattenhove addressed the committee.
This could have been the spark that started a new civil war, and no one would have won there.
As did a rioter, Stephen Ayers, who pleaded guilty to illegally entering the Capitol.
The president, got everybody riled up, told everybody to head on down. So we basically were just following what he said.
Court documents show Ayers suggested civil war will ensue if former President Trump didn't remain in the White House. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Vice Chair of the January 6th Select Committee, Liz Cheney, says former President Trump tried to contact one of the witnesses in the investigation, and that call has been referred to the Justice Department.
And now, your Storm Team 18 forecast. Weather from where you live.
All right, a few clouds tomorrow morning, and then the clouds continue to bubble up tomorrow afternoon. These look like little heads of cauliflower, and they may produce an isolated shower, a little isolated thunder shower, and that would be it. And the wind kind of turns to the northwest, gets kind of breezy in the afternoon. High of 85 at Greater Lafayette, but 82 to 87 will do it viewing area wide with the mid-80s at Fowler, Lafayette, back to Delphi, Flora, Burlington, Roucheville, Kokomo, and about 83 at Remington and Rensselaer. Just a few little puffy cotton ball clouds on Thursday, that is, with 80 to 85. Again, both days low humidity. North wind on Thursday with an 82 after 58 in the morning, with highs anywhere from that 80 up to the north at Winnemac all the way to DeMott, 81 at Morocco, and about 83 at Attica, 82 at Fowler. A few clouds tonight. Clouds bubble up tomorrow, maybe an isolated shower, small little thunder shower, albeit brief, and then they pull away. We clear it out tomorrow night, lots of sun Thursday. We pick up a lot of high and mid-level cloudiness later on Friday. There will be a complex of showers and storms here, kind of right along and just south of the warm front lifting northward, but it will tend to collapse. We're just going to get the leftover cloudiness around, but then we watch what occurs Saturday. First of all, this is noon. Winds are out of the south-southwest. It is a humid to muggy day. Temperatures upper 80s to into the 90s. And we watch this round of storms come in from the northwest for Saturday night to early Sunday morning. Now, the stronger upper-level winds for a lot of severe weather will be way up here. But this complex of storms may have an isolated severe storm or two. And if we play our cards just right, we're going to get that complex to come right through our area. Fingers are crossed. Hopefully it doesn't move a little farther north. Hopefully we get just the core of it to bring us some welcome rainfall. We need that rain because after this, it's dry. I mean, it's very dry. Big hot upper ridge, and it looks like a lot of record heat from the plains to the Midwest. By the end of next week, July 19th through the 25th, there's going to be a period there where it's pretty brutal. And we're around 100, if not a little more than that, for the entire area. That is detailed. It's done. The blog post is done. It's all detailed right now on Chad's weather blog, WLFI.com, and your Storm Team 18 weather app. And I put a lot of work into it. I went all the way out, even into the winter, and kind of what may transpire from the sea surface temperatures in the oceans over the next few years and what that means for our winters over the next few years. So you want to check that out. 90 on Saturday, muggy. Some storms Saturday night, Sunday morning are possible. 87 Sunday, then it heats up. Again, very hot late next week.